Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live on this beautiful Wednesday. We have a lot to talk about. You see the title. It really seems like all hell is breaking loose in Portland. We're going to break that down. And also, China is mad at the U.S. This is hilarious to me. I cannot wait to get into that. But before we do all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at Jackie Ray TV.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. Yeah, we got a lot of angry Karens going on in today's show that we got to talk about. So buckle up, chat. Buckle up.
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy, Karen-driven ride. But first, let's start with our need-to-know news, because this one is very sad to me. It's troubling. I like CJ. I think a lot of us like CJ. He has a very interesting injury, but it's not just him. I feel like all hell is really breaking loose. So Damian Lillard's out. He had that abdominal, I forget what it was called, the medical term for it, but he has an abdominal issue. He's out. He's supposed to be reevaluated this week. And then let's go down the line. Anthony Simmons is out. He has been out for 2 games with an ankle sprain. He's day-to-day. Nasir is out for 4 games. And now CJ has this injury. You know, shout out to Shams for putting it in simple terms, because I'm going to try to say this medical term, but I'm going to need y'all to know that I'm about to mess it up. So if we could throw up that first tweet from Shams. He said Trailblazers guard CJ McCollum is out with a femorax.
Pneumothorax. I practiced it. I practiced it. Yeah.
Okay. Say pneumothorax.
Like pneumonia and thorax together.
Okay. Pneumothorax. Which is a collapsed right lung.
Right.
So, which is a collapsed right lung, which means he is out indefinitely. And then, which on top of that, so now we have this CJ situation, and they don't know when he's going to come back. This is a very rare injury as well. So let me show you this next tweet, because this is one reason I can't say this, because it doesn't happen that often. So it says, very odd and unusual injury in the NBA. Gerald Wallace and Terrence Jones both suffered rib injuries that also included the thorax thing. Average missed time is 6.5 games. So it's not as bad as it sounds. When I hear collapsed lung, I'm like, oh no, you need to reevaluate your life. Are you going to keep playing? Because how do you have a collapsed lung? So 6.5 games, that's interesting to me. But with all that we know that's going on with the Trailblazers, is this just kind of, what are they going to do now with CJ out? I know you say this team is built weird, but now
so I don't know, and not only just with CJ, like you just named a lot of key players that are gonna be missing. Nasir Little's night, and he's having a solid season this year. We know the whole situation with Dame. I don't know. I feel bad for Chauncey Billups. This team is just in a weird situation. The whole GM situation we're gonna talk about later on in the show. I don't know. I don't know. This hurts them. I mean, I hope everything is good with CJ, and we're talking about that. But from a basketball perspective, this hurts them in a different way, because they were possibly looking to move CJ McCollum to try and get Damian Lillard some help in a final effort to get Damian Lillard to stay. You know what I mean? And now that he's injured, and people don't really know the actual details about what's going on with this injury, that makes it harder to do. So I have no idea. I've been saying it, and at this time, I feel like the hand has been forced. I think it's time for the Blazers to just throw in the towel and just time to hit that reset button, bro. Hit the reset button, get what you can get for Damian Lillard. Hope CJ comes back healthy and have him be a part of it, and then ship him off next year. It's time to hit that reset button. The team is already in such a weird spot. If this was the team I had in NBA 2K, I would have quit, deleted the file, and started all over again. Like this team is in such a weird spot.
Yeah, and Chauncey, I know you're going to be getting into some of the news with Chauncey, but I just wanted to let you guys know exactly what Chris is saying. Like, it just seems like this is all over the place, because right after I saw this headline that, CJ's lung is collapsed, the very next headline that came out 13 minutes later was, and by the way, Chauncey's having issues. And then his statement. So let me just read you his statement after they lost to the Celtics 117-145, which, to Chauncey's point, that's an embarrassing loss. And he says, lack of pride, of course, that bothers me. If that doesn't bother you, there's something going on. Something is not right, not cool. It happens. That's why I'm willing to lose. He said, there's a way I'm willing to lose, and that's not the way I'm willing to lose. It was embarrassing, competitive fire and pride. That's something you either have or you don't. That's something you can't turn on or off. So I don't know. Like, it's a lot, you know. That quote is it's a lot. Like, it says a lot about a lot of people in that locker room. And I don't want to assume that I know specifically who he's addressing, but it sounds like there's an entire problem. This is an entire team problem, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. Personally, I think you're right. At this point, you got to just abandon ship and just start from ground zero.
And I know I might be reaching a little bit, but that's what I got from that quote, that middle line. There's a way to lose, but that wasn't it. And that's with just effort. You know, we have these teams that are not good, but they're in the rebuilding phase. But you know that these younger guys are putting their heart out and try to do whatever they can to play for these teams like the Rockets and these other younger teams that are not good right now. The Pistons that are not good. The Magic is a great example. They have a bunch of young talent. The team is not good, but you're still excited about him because you're seeing Cole Anthony develop. You're seeing Mo Bamba finally for the first time play really well. So I think that's what Chauncey Billups is talking about. Like, there is a way to lose, and this ain't it because there's no effort. And if you watch the Blazers, they don't look like the Blazers of old. And I'm not willing to put that on Chauncey Billups. So with that part of the quote, I know he said a bunch of other things, but that middle part of that quote, that tells me right there that it's time to blow up the entire thing, give Chauncey Billups a new team, let him grow with a brand new team. Let him get, let them, I don't want to say tank, but they got to tank. Get him a draft pick, get him a rookie, get him whoever it is, get him who you need. Just rebuild the team and start from fresh, because what they have right now is just, it's like they're holding on to hope that something's gonna happen. Like Damian Lillard is great, but there's only so much that he can do with this team right now, even if he was 100% all in on what's going on with the team. So this is worse than being bad, is being indecisive. And I think that Chauncey Billups wants it one way or the other for sure.
What I'm curious to see is, since we saw that this injury usually takes 6.5 games, I'm just going to round up and say, let's say it takes 8 or 9, just to give him some leeway. Yeah. If CJ drags this out all of a sudden, and all of a sudden we just really don't have any idea of when he's coming back, or say we end up in a situation where it's like what happened with Kawhi, where the team doctors say, oh, he's good to go, but then no, he goes and gets some other doctor to be like, no, he's not. Now that'll be the telltale sign to me that everybody's lying, including Dame. Half the stuff that we heard about y'all was right, and y'all just playing games and y'all just waiting the season out. And so I would prefer them just say it, but I get how you wouldn't. But this is just a lot. This whole team, it's not even built weird anymore. It's built terrible right now.
Terrible, yeah. Yep, the whole situation is a mess.
Yep. But we're gonna break this down a little bit more in the post up in a second. But that's all I got for Need to Know News. So Chris, can you take us into the post up?
Oh boy, yes. Today is a very, very back and forth post up on this hump day with your boy Chris. Yeah. If I don't seem as enthused, because we have to talk about some things that I'm not ready to talk about, and I'm ready for Jackie to sound off on, because oh boy. But let's start off. I lost my list. My list went away. Let's come back. There it is. Let's start off with my boy, my guy, Mr. Well, I don't know if he's going because he missed a few games. Rookie, in my eyes, rookie of the year, Justin Fields. You guys know the rookie quarterback for the Chicago Bears. He missed the last few games because of a rib injury. You saw in that first game where he had to leave early. Andy Dalton came in, and he played solid, and they were able to edge out that win. And then last week, you saw Andy Dalton go right back to where Andy Dalton is, and the Bears are. So, Justin Fields is definitely a big part of what has Chicago fans excited for the future. But with the rib injury he had, it wasn't really certain how bad it was until now, ? Because his wide receiver, third year wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, the second, right? He's young. I know he's either second or third. But he's coming out telling the truth about what's going on with Justin Fields' rib injury. If I can get the tweet up right here. Yeah, Darnell Mooney says that if Justin Fields' ribs are hurting, he's doing a good job of hiding it. He said he hasn't been giving any signs that he's hurt. So basically, in practice and everything, Justin Fields is moving through it just fine. But according to the doctors and everything, like just this past week, they're saying that the rib injury was pretty severe, like it's pretty bad, and it should take him some time to recover. But then during practice, you got your number 1, number 2 receivers saying, We can't tell. If it's that bad, we have no idea of what's going on. So, look, Justin Fields, as long as I've watched him, if you guys watch QB1 on Netflix, I think it's the second or third season. Justin Fields is in that show. That's where I was first introduced to him back in high school. Similar situation where he had an injury, played through the injury, and he was still a beast. And that's why he was one of the number one prospects going into college and then eventually going to Georgia. Then I don't have to tell you the whole story, but that's just been his MO. He's that kind of guy. And now it's about how the Chicago Bears handle it. Can they protect him from himself, or is Justin Fields really that okay where he can go forward with it and playing? So, Jackie, I asked you this because we heard Darnell saying that, he looks like he's fine, but the doctor's saying, no, that's a pretty bad injury. He might need another week or so. What do you think happens here? Do you think that he should is he downplaying it too much to the point where the Bears are going to make a mistake and let him play too early? Or do you think that the Bears play it safe and know that this season's a wash, let Andy Dalton go one more week, and then maybe throw Fields in later on? What do you think happens?
I think they should let Andy Dalton go one, maybe even 2 more weeks. I think this is the kind of injury that you err on the side of caution, but I don't think that they will. I don't think that they make smart decisions over there, number one. And like you said, his MO is to play through these injuries. So if the doctors are saying, no, sit down, and then he's running up like, no, coach, I'm good. First of all, the coach should know, okay, you don't have a degree in medicine. We're going to listen to the doctors. That should always be your go-to, because every athlete will tell you they would rather be dragged off the field than to sit on the sideline. So every athlete is not going to do what's in their best interest. So like you said, the coach and the medical staff really have to protect him from himself. So I would hope, because you're not going to win anyway. So why would it hurt for Andy Dalton to play another week or two? It doesn't make sense to really make him go out there and play more than he should when it doesn't mean anything. So they won't do that, but they should. They really should.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I think if they were competing, this is a different conversation, because that's football. You see that happen all the time, where these quarterbacks, any position, where they might be hurting and they might be more severe, but as long as they're playing through it and they're showing a strong face, typically coaches will let them in. But that's if you're competing and you're in the run for a playoffs. This team is not. This guy's your future. Don't risk it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no point of it. Letting Matt Nagy get fired so we can have a new coach and we can start it all over. Oh man, why are the Saints in the chat? What's happening? Pounds, what's your beef? He said CK2K responds to the Saints. Hold on, wait, are you Bleacher Report? CK responds to the Saints. Y'all still my team. Get a better QB. Did I say that, or are you just saying I'm about to say our QB is hurt. Our QB is hurt. Jameis is not in right now. I would still like for us to draft a QB. I'm gonna be real with you on that, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, what are you talking? Look, I don't know. We're not. It's not about the Saints. It's not about the Saints. Not about the Saints. Don't get me started. We'll talk about.
We'll make it about the Saints, though. Don't play. Yeah. So you need to clarify what you're talking about, sir.
Be careful, Pounds. Don't give us that stage right now. Anyways, but moving on from Justin Fields and the Bears, let's go over to Vegas and Mr. Josh Jacobs. Now, I saw this. I don't know if any of y'all follow BSO. That's Sports Online. I saw this in passing, and I saw the the tweet, and I just laughed. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again. But basically, this is turning into a big thing where there's a whole article written about it, and I'm talking about Mr. Running Back Josh Jacobs. I like Josh Jacobs, but he's not having a great season this year. I don't know if this has a lot to do with it. I don't know. But allegedly, according to BSO and a lot of other outlets, my man Josh is out here running around with 8 kids, which is, the NFL. We've seen, Antonio Cromartie, like that happens. But he got 8 kids with 8 different baby mamas going on right now. And nobody knew about this until BSO brought it to light, and we have some other articles going on. And I just looked at this. I said, huh? You got what going on with what? You've been in the league for 3 seasons? 2 seasons? You put in that much work? Come on, son. Like you ain't even all that right now. Like this is not last year, Josh. Like what's going on? But anyways, yeah, let's I have a section of that article that I want to read to you guys. I'm gonna skim through. I'm not gonna read the entire thing here, but according to the Wags Unfiltered 2.0, so take that as serious as you want to take it. But here's the article. It said Josh Jacobs is one of our mascots because they make a lot of jokes about him. It's an unwritten rule over here. So allegedly, Josh has 8 kids with 8 different women. We've reported before on his 3 kids that we were aware of, right? I was aware of the 3 kids as well. But there's more. We reached out to Josh to get some answers, but no response. So we did a little of our own digging and found his basketball roster. I mean, baby mothers, like disrespect. Now these aren't in specific order, but allegedly these are the mothers, and you guys can see them right there. They added every single one of the moms. I ain't go sit here and read all their names. But and then except for the last one who didn't have one, her name is Janny, who doesn't have an Instagram, but she was the first. She has his first child, Braxton. So if I counted correctly, that's 8. Josh, is it against your religion to pull out? We need to have a sit down. Blah blah blah. So there's a whole thing going on. They're attacking Josh Jacobs. I keep saying Jackson. Josh Jackson. That's the basketball player. Josh Jacobs and his situation right now. But Josh is not having it. Josh is upset. He doesn't like these allegations. He thinks that they're all trash. He thinks that this is all made up. And he had time on Twitter, and he said, "Mo, will say anything for some clicks and likes." And then a few seconds later, he responded to himself by also adding on, "Lawyer's about to have a field day with this one," laughing emoji. So he's playing the typical not real, not true, fake news kind of situation. Jackie, if true, help. What do you think? Like, what I don't know what to even think of this if that's true. Why are you? I don't understand. If it is true, why is he not owning up to it? Like, yeah, I got all them damn kids. So what? Like, I don't like what's the way to handle this other than, like the article said, having the problem that he has.
He needs to go and watch that interview with Nick Cannon where they asked Nick Cannon, why you got so many damn kids with so many different women? And he was like, why not? Like, I love them at the moment. I love kids. I'm not the type of person to be with one woman, but I'm a great dad and we have great relationships. And I actually want more kids with more women. Like, just own it, you know? And so literally just watch that interview and say it word for word, because once you start adding the baby mamas, there's been enough digging to know that there's something to this story. Maybe he's only got 7. Maybe it's not 9. But something's to this story for sure.
So you're saying like maybe one or two of them, that those might not be it. But he definitely got about 7 or 8 of them, you know. But I don't know, man.
At least. And the thing is like, what I don't understand about that is like, I get you're in the league, you want to get around, you want to have multiple partners, you want to just be nasty. That's your business. Condoms are a thing, and they're like, you can get like what, a whole box, and it's way cheaper than child support.
Yeah.
Or get a vasectomy. You can do that too. It's reversible.
Oh God, yeah, it is. But God, anyways, yeah, Josh. I don't know if that's the reason behind the season that you've been having, the very lackluster season, but Lord, speak on this a little bit more, because you here laughing on social media and talk about the lawyers getting into it. That's not telling us anything, bro. We've seen it. We've seen athletes do this in the past. That does not mean that it's not true. Anyways, oh man, this next one, I don't want to talk about this one. I saw this and I just moved on, because the fact that this murderer is on a press tour. Oh my God. And that he baited the world into making this clip go viral. All I see this as, like, I get it, you know, he's responding to LeBron James and blah, blah, blah. But all I see this as is we are giving this dude the attention that he does not deserve. We do not need to be talking about this dude anymore. He got away with murder. And it is what it is. We know that, you know, all of them over there are going to have their field day with it and, you know, feel like this America's justice and blah, 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 blah. I don't care which side you stand on. Do kill people and got away with it. And now he's on a press tour and being praised for it. And I hated this interview. I saw it. I watched the entire thing and I moved on. I'm like, I'm not giving this any of my time. So I'm going to play this for you guys. Basically, you guys remember what LeBron James had said when the whole trial was going on. We had agreed. We had said, yep, go ahead, LeBron. But now that, you know, he's free and he has a platform with a bunch of other haters that don't understand life to talk about it. This was how the interview went. Just watch the video.
I don't know what this emoji is. Carson.
Cool thing about lemons. I'll eat lemon straight up. It's really good.
Well, you know, LeBron said you're eating lemon drops, and then he got and then he got the flu.
Obviously, lemons don't make Kyle cry. He just eats them.
I eat them straight up.
I threw away my
Got
Lakers
him.
shirt to show everyone else.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed you had one in the first place.
I was
I'm
gonna
from
say.
LA. I'm trying to get rings.
I was a Lakers fan too before he said that.
Really?
Yeah.
I was really pissed off when he said that because I like LeBron, and then I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, LeBron.
Seriously.
Amen.
You know,
Little
you have
bitch.
to give the man credit. It took all 4 of his brain cells to even construct that tweet.
Oh
Well, he had to run it by China first.
Well, that's true, and then they promptly
yeah.
died.
So he had Chinese slave children write it.
Exactly. For every word, they killed a Uyghur. It was very sad.
There are people that listen to this nonsense and they're sitting there like, yeah, right, brother. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand people. I don't understand. I really, truly do not understand this earth sometimes. And seeing videos like this where we got this man, I can barely even call him that, just sitting there high and mighty, having this conversation and yucking it up with these people. And this whole, I don't know. Like, I know it's what we're talking about LeBron James' situation, but I hated this clip. Jackie, please go ahead and say what you need to say. But I want to move off of it. I'm gonna be real.
I mean, I don't have a bunch to say. You know, the dude has on a Lesbians for Trump shirt, as if we don't know that Trump is homophobic. Oh, girl said, "Oh, it took all 4 of his brain cells to write that."
She thought
tweet.
she was so funny.
Like she thought she was funny with that. When we see she only got 1 brain cell and it buys lipstick and uses it for eyeshadow. I don't understand why these people are even given a platform the way they are. And then the whole thing was just gross to me. And I am so, because I looked, you guys know I was looking the whole time. And I was like, LeBron, if you don't Skip Bayless these people and not say nothing, and he has not mentioned it at all. And I have seen people tag him in this and they've said, what do you got to say? Oh, he clapped back at you. LeBron does not care about stupid people. Is one of my favorite things about him, and the fact that he said nothing, that's king stuff right there. And I'm cool with that. I only thing that I hope, and y'all feel how you feel about this, only thing I hope is I see karma come for this kid. That's the only thing I hope.
And I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm right there with you, because this is crazy. This dude is on a tour. Like, it's not like he just made a stop here. He's on because he's being praised. He's being all right, let's move on. Yeah, I'm done talking about him. Let's go to back to the situation we were talking about at this top of the show, and that is the Portland Trail Blazers and the nonsense that is going on over there. Yeah, Damian Lillard, like we had mentioned, we didn't really actually talk too much about the Damian Lillard portion of everything that's going on, because yesterday was just Blazer Day. We heard the news about CJ McCollum. Then we heard what Chauncey Billups had to say in his presser. That was actually from the day before, but then he continued it yesterday. And then on top of all that, we had the news that we knew that their GM at the time, Neil O'Shea, was ultimately let go. But we had the news that he was officially let go from the Blazers and that they were going to be using their assistant GM, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, to be their interim GM for the time being. But then we had a report coming out from Woj that was saying that the Blazers have, or whoever is going to come on as the new full-time GM, has a bit of a situation on his hands, as Damian Lillard is looking for an extension through, 2025, 2026 or something like that. So the new GM is going to have to figure out that money. But I can break it down right here. There's an article that in more explanation of what Woj tweeted out right here, saying, as much as anything, this cuts to the core of the Blazers' search process. His desire for an extension into his advanced NBA years has turned into a battle for the franchise's future, an existential threat to reshaping and redirecting the organization in a post-playoff reality. The prospects of Portland extending Lillard, who is 31, beyond his $48.8 million in 2024-2025 to pay him $51 million at 35 years old and 55 at 36 threatens to turn an asset of a contract into an albatross. Jackie Ray, I read this, whether it's true or false, we're going to get to Damian Lillard's response. I read this and I said, then trade him. Simple enough. Then trade him. If you are going to complain and this is a big deal about it, then trade him. Now, Damian Lillard is going to, he said, before I get in the next part, Damian Lillard then responded to pretty much social media. One of my favorite people, he had hit or miss sometimes with some of his tweets, but Tommy Beer, who once did media work for the Knicks. Now he just talks about the Knicks all the time. He did what he does best, and he was baiting Knicks fans a little bit by expanding on Sham's tweet, talking about the whole it's just what we just talked about. And he picked up this quote from that article saying, "In recent weeks, sources say Lillard has grown frustrated with the team's play, and tension appears to be on the rise between the players and Billups." Hence the quote that we just said. So what Tommy Beer was doing there was to get Knicks fans to be like, Damian Lillard comes to the Knicks. And Tommy Beer is really good at that. I saw you can't see my responses clap because I knew, I know Tommy. I know he's trying to do that. Anyways, to that tweet, we had someone else respond basically saying what me and Jackie have been saying this entire time. LMAO, when y'all going to learn that to not report this ish if Damian Lillard is not the one saying it directly. Damian Lillard saw that, respond to this. These love drama too damn much. And that's facts. And then on top of that, and I'm going to explain this one, we also saw Wells P also put up Woj and O'Shea after writing that article slandering Dame. And you see that it's obviously Trump. And I already forgot Haircut's name. He said, can't say I'm so Pence, right, Mike Pence. And then Damian Lillard responded to this saying, can't say I'm surprised. And the reason why, for those who may or may not know, it is no knowledge. This is especially with all the reports and all the rumors that were coming out around Damian Lillard. There's no knowledge. It has been clarified. It has been confirmed that O'Shea, who the former GM of the Blazers, he was always, and whenever there was anything to be leaked, he was one of the main leaks for Woj. He was one of the main people that was anything going on with the Blazers to make the Blazers look right, to help their narrative. He was going to leak some of that information out, which is why there was so much conversation and so much around the whole Damian Lillard stuff, because he was getting it straight from the GM, which led to a lot of the issues within the organization and him eventually being let go. So if you guys didn't know about that, look that up as well. So that's why it was saying that, unfortunately, Woj had to be dragged into that whole Trump and Mike Pence thing. But again, Woj has been some situations where I kind of understand it. But anyways, from that initial tweet, that initial ESPN article, Jackie, where it's talking about his, the problem with him wanting an extension, and that's a future problem for the future GM. Blobbity, blobbity, blobbity. All I see is, if that's such a big problem, trade him so someone else who would actually use his services can pay him that money and not have a problem with it. Obviously, that paying him that money is not going to get you anywhere, so trade him and let him go. Conversation over. What are we talking about right now?
Exactly. I don't have anything to add to that, except as much as I love Dame, I don't know if I believe him anymore when he says if he hasn't said it, it's not true.
Right.
I think now So, okay, well, then I'm going to let you, because that's where I'm at. I don't believe him.
No. I don't know. You continue. You speak on it. I'm just saying I'm getting to that point, too, where I'm starting to believe, all right, I don't know if I can really co-sign that all the time anymore. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't, because at this point, I feel like what's really happening is he is like, all right, if I am going to stay here, it has to happen exactly the way that I want it to happen. And he knows it's not going to happen exactly the way he wants it to happen. Right. So he's going to push for a trade. But that's the same difference as you just saying, I want to trade. So I don't know if I necessarily believe that he's 100% committed to this team anymore the way that he said, because his actions aren't showing that. So, it is what it is. I think this whole organization is going to blow up. I hope it blows up in a way that Chauncey, because that's my main concern right now. I want Chauncey to be successful as a head coach. If we got to get everybody out so he can rebuild with the younger team, then that's just what we have to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, I feel like that's almost a safer route to let him rebuild, because, you don't typically, unless there's no consistent, progress, you don't typically fire new coaches on a rebuilding team, because obviously they're rebuilding with the new squad they have. Look at Steven Silas right now. Got that job in an unfortunate situation with James Harden. Now they have a young core future, and I don't think they're looking to fire him because they know that they're not competing for anything right now. So it ain't Steven Silas's full fault. Now they just have to progress gradually each year, and he should be fine. And that's why I feel like Chauncey Billups is going to need. I think he needs that kind of a chance to make a name for himself, because unfortunately Chauncey Billups is going to be whatever Damian Lillard and this Blazer team is. So if they're bad, it's going to be Chauncey's fault. whether it is or not. So that's why I ultimately would like that rebuild, so he gets a fair chance, and so Damian Lillard can get to an actual team where he can compete. That's nothing, and CJ, but that's neither here nor there. Yep, drama. To me, all I'm hearing is make the damn trade. But Jackie, unfortunately for you, the drama doesn't end there, and I say that for you because everything that this man is about to say contradicts everything that you've been saying. I'm actually not everything. There's one point in Charles Barkley's whole pep talk or Charles Barkley whole blame game on Lakers fans. There's one part of it that I think you might co-sign with, and it's a very small part. But I'm going to play this clip. I have to play it in its entirety. If you guys haven't seen it already, we know that the Lakers and the Celtics played on TNT yesterday. And before that game, Charles Barkley, he had this to say about all of the narratives and all the things around Frank Vogel, Jackie's boy, being fired. This is what he had to say.
Hey, listen, y'all know I think that most reporters are cowards. They want to be friends with these players. And y'all just proved my point again. For the first month of the season, y'all blame everything on Russell Westbrook for the Lakers putting all them old-ass geezers together, and y'all blame Westbrook. Now I hear y'all gonna fire Frank Vogel. Listen, Russ is learning. Frank Vogel is a terrific coach. Putting all them old-ass geezers together and just trying to blame other people, it ain't right and it ain't cool. Listen, Anthony Davis, you got to play better. I said on this first night, if the Lakers were going to be any good, it was all going to be on you. Has nothing to do with Russell, had nothing to do with LeBron and the rest of them old-ass geezers they put together out there. But now y'all done crossed the line because I really like Frank Vogel. And listen, it ain't his fault, but listen, in my opinion, I blame Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, you know I like you as a person, but you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. You're 27 years old. You're supposed to be in your prime. You're supposed to be one of the 5 best players in the world, up there with Giannis, Kevin Durant, and those guys. And you ain't holding up your end of the bargain. So now I hear y'all gonna fire the coach. That's total BS, man. Now I feel better.
Okay, so Jackie, I know the Vogel part, you're just sitting over there like this, dude. But the blame on Anthony Davis and even in that nice game that you guys had last night, is that part right there? Do you co-sign? I know you definitely don't with the Frank Vogel part, but the Anthony Davis part, do you think that Chuck has a point that Anthony Davis needs to be taking a brunt of this blame because where he's at in his career, 27 years, everything he said, he should be doing a lot more than he's been doing. I understand you got Russell Westbrook on your team and this, that, and the third, but nah. And LeBron James said it from day one, even though you knew it might not be entirely true. He said from day one, he's going to groom this to make sure that this is your team. So go out there and take the team. So do you agree with that part of what Charles Barkley had to say?
I actually do agree. I agree with everything he said except for the Frank Vogel part.
Right.
But I also feel like if Frank Vogel was the thing that's missing with Anthony Davis right now is he doesn't have that, even though LeBron has told him that. And even when I've seen LeBron kind of fall back and try to let him take the reins, I've not seen Anthony Davis do that yet. So Anthony Davis doesn't have that mindset yet that this is my team. I'm the leader of the team. I need to run it as such. Frank Vogel has also not gotten his behind and said, you need to step the hell up. And the thing that I do like about what Charles Barkley said, even though he said 7 as 7, aside from that, there's no M in 7, but Anthony Davis, if LeBron, at 27-year-old LeBron coming on this team, we would expect him to dominate. We would expect him to go out there and if need be to carry this team on his back. When we know that Anthony Davis is supposed to be the future of this franchise, you're definitely supposed to do that. You're definitely supposed to be biggest. Now, injuries are a problem with him, which is why he put on that muscle mass to hopefully alleviate some of that. Injuries have been a problem for him, but it's not about the injuries right now. It's about his mindset. His mindset to dominate that team is not there. For whatever reason, he's not pulled any of that mindset from LeBron, and Frank Vogel damn sure isn't instilling it. So I still think it's a twofold problem. I don't think he's wrong about what he said about AD, but the fact that Frank Vogel hasn't changed up any rotations except for like a couple of times, he doesn't know how to work with this many superstars on one team. He just doesn't. So he is the problem still.
Yeah, and that's my thing with Frank Vogel. I like I said, I don't entirely think he is as trash of a coach, but I do agree with you in the sense that he's not the coach for the Lakers. That part I agree with you in. But my thing is, if you're not going to be I know he's supposed to be this defensive guru coach. That's what he did in Indiana. He kind of brought that to Orlando, but didn't really work in the same degree. And we saw shades of it in that 2019 run for you guys. But if that stuff isn't going to work, at the very least, you got to be able to, say the right things to get your team motivated. And I don't even think Frank Vogel is that. And maybe that is entirely what Anthony Davis needs. That's what, Alvin Gentry, in all his runs and whoever he coaches, we know his first few seasons always go really well, and then they tend to trail off a bit when it comes to Alvin Gentry as a coach. But the one thing that Alvin Gentry has always been good at is he is that guy. He is good at motivating these players. And I think he did a good job with that with Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis had what he has in LeBron James with Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was there gassing up, letting them know this is your team. You're the guy. And on top of that, you got a coach that's also letting him know that time to time. Sometimes players need that. And I feel like, Frank Vogel is just not that. LeBron could say whatever he needs to say. This is coming from the, the best player in the world. But the coach has to also make sure that they're putting positions for Anthony Davis to be great. Because if you're going to be posting and standing at the 3-point line the entire game, you ain't going to be dominant like you were in the past. That's not who you are. You need to do what Anthony Davis, what you do. Another problem, too, Kevin Lang put in the chat, and we can move on. It also seems like Anthony Davis is playing to not get hurt. And I think that's a very good point. I feel like Anthony Davis knows his history. And it seems like he's just doing what he can to survive so they can at least get to the playoffs. And then maybe he can cut a rug then. I don't know. But but yeah, it does seem like he's playing to not get hurt. So I agree with Chuck on that point too. I do. I think that, we do need to put some of that blame on Anthony Davis. He should have been carrying this entire time. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see. And then I think we got one more. Last but not least, we have this girl, this teenage 6'3" beast. She is out there, and I don't mean that, and I'm just saying she is literally a beast. Now she is out here doing what Zion Williamson did back when he was in high school, but to a different degree, because she's out here dominating these kids. If you could get the video, I don't know if we need the sound for it, Leo, but if we can get this video up, look at this. Insane. She is dominating these kids. But if you're 6'3" and looking like that, you should be out there wearing the PG3s. I see you. Look at this move. No, send the whole entire team. I want to see the first ever was it five-ul team? How do you say five? Like double, triple, quadruple, whatever that is. But I want to see all five of them. Garner, look at that. And not only that, look at the outlet pass. She out here doing what she does. Now, we remember, Zion Williamson in high school, the highlights were looking exactly like this, except you just got to throw some dunks and some crazy, Zion Williamson type things. Yeah, she's out here dominating. People were going crazy about it on social media yesterday. And we saw some jokes talking about we need to get her to the league in the NBA and this, that, and the third. But yeah, she out here, she dominated. Named AUDI CROOKS.
See, I don't like this.
You don't like it?
I always got to be a hater, right?
No, that's fine. Well, I want to know why.
Because I watched not only this clip, there were some other clips of her. She's great in the paint, obviously, because she's the biggest one. She's taller than everybody. She's bigger than everybody. All she has to do is stand there and throw a hand up every now and then. But as far as anything outside of the paint, she's not that good, and because she's not agile enough. And her weight, and I noticed the little things. The other clip that I saw, it was like the first quarter, it was something like 5 minutes into the game, and she is drenched in sweat where everyone else is just kind of glistening. So reality of it is, like, people say, oh, bring her to the league. First of all, the NBA, it just, they would wreck shop on that child, even if she was like 20 something. And when you're talking about the WNBA, they would also wreck shop on her because she doesn't have a full game. And the reason why she doesn't have a full game in part is because of her weight. So it's the same Zion thing. Zion needs to get his weight under control so he can have a dominant career. This young lady, she's tall, which is great. Now, you don't have to be skinny, but you gotta tone that up. You gotta be more agile. You gotta be able to be quick on your feet, and she don't have that.
But she has one excuse that Zion doesn't have. I think, is she 14 or 15? One of the two.
She's 16.
She has the 16. She has the baby fat excuse. She can still,
We gave Zion that same excuse till he was like 19.
But the thing is, he did. We forget. Like, look at I know he still was big, but look at those Duke highlights. Zion trimmed down compared to where he was in high school. Zion was trim and he was in shape. He was big, but he was a lot more trim than he is right now. So you're right. But I'm just saying, like, before I go all the way on her, I'm gonna give her the baby fat excuse. But if we see her playing for UConn or wherever one of the big college WNBA or women's college basketball teams are, and she's still looking like this, then yes, then I'm gonna completely co-sign it. Where she's just gonna have the same Zion issues going on to the next level. But for right now, just enjoy it, Jackie. Just enjoy it. She ain't gotta do nothing. For all we know, she got a 3-point jump shot. And she don't need to use it. What's the point of her being out there? Because then I feel like we would also have those old heads being like, you got all that damn size and you shooting the damn basketball. You know, you have that crowd saying that. So give her some time. Give her some time. We'll see.
All right.
Anyway,
you sound like one of those women who had a baby 6 years ago talking about this baby fat. This
just baby fat. Right. I'm trying to help you out. Yeah, help me out. Prove me right here. All right, 6'3". Like, come on now. You could be a beast. Like, help me out with this one. Anyways, Jackie Ray, that is enough for me on Post Up. Can you let us know what we not gonna do today?
Yes, this one is, I hope y'all find this as comical as I do, but I feel like maybe my sense of humor is a little weird and maybe you won't. But this one is funny as hell to me. So let's get into what we not going to do, because again, this is like the pot calling the kettle black at this point. So for clarity, I don't have a dog in the China race. Because I know how they treat people who look at me, I'm not invested into that situation at all. However, I think we all can acknowledge that what they're doing in China is wrong from a humanity standpoint. So, Lord forgive me for laughing, because this is just it's not funny, haha, but it's funny. So a lot of people came to the Biden administration, specifically Olympic athletes, because if you don't know, the Winter Olympics are being held in Beijing, China. So a lot of Olympic athletes were like, hey, Biden administration, we really have to do something about this. This is not right. These are crimes against humanity that are happening in China. We need to step in and we need to do something. Joe Biden was like, nah, because China like owns us. If you don't know that, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. But what I will do is a diplomatic boycott. So what the press secretary, let me just read her little statement because it's interesting to me. She basically, now this is the answer to that, but his press secretary said that they would do a diplomatic boycott and not send any government diplomats to the game. The press secretary said that the U.S. fully supports U.S. athletes competing in the games, but would not dispatch diplomats or officials to attend because they have a fundamental commitment to promoting human rights and they will not be contributing to the fanfare of the games. So when I read this, I'm like, ain't half y'all the same damn people that told these athletes they need to shut up and dribble, but now you inserting yourself into sports for political gain? You don't say. Well, now the foreign minister spokesperson, Zhao Lihan, he basically told reporters that what y'all not going to do is make us look back, and there will be consequences if you do. So, Leo, you can throw that tweet back up there, because this is funny to me. Because like I said, China owns us. You can flip the tag in the back of your shirt. It's probably going to say either made in Taiwan or China. So just so you know, but he said the U.S. attempt to interfere with the Beijing Winter Olympics out of ideological prejudice based on lies and rumors will only expose its sinister intentions. The Winter Olympics are not a stage for political shows and political manipulation. And he went on to say, this is the best part of his quote. I gotta quote this exactly. He went on to say that there will be severe consequences for the United States. He did not say what those consequences were, but he said, stay tuned. I'm sorry. As a U.S. citizen who understands how much of us China owns, which no, sir, I need to know the specifics. And I'm not with them. I didn't say this. Please don't come over here acting a fool. I understand the political ramifications of this, but here's what I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I don't like the intent behind it, because I do, from a humanity standpoint, I do like what the Biden administration is doing. Like, hey, we're not going to do anything, but we are going to let you know that, well, we see what you're doing and it's not right. So we're not going to participate in the games that are being held in your country. I don't fall into this narrative that people in sports or one person can't make a difference. I fully believe that one person can make a difference. And the United States being the United States should make a difference. So I thought maybe this would make the Olympic Committee kind of take a step back and say, okay, let's really talk about this, because these crimes that have been happening in China have been happening for decades, if not centuries. We can't keep turning a blind eye to this, but that's not what happened. So the president of the Olympic Committee basically agreed with China. So his statement says this, and I'm quoting. He says, going beyond this, expecting that the Olympic Games can fundamentally change a country, its political system, or its laws is a completely exaggerated expectation. The Olympics cannot solve problems that generations of politicians have not solved. So not only the president of the Olympic Committee, but other countries are like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, this isn't our fight. Somebody needs to do something about China, but we as the Olympic Committee, who are supposed to be promoting sports, we're not going to do that. Hands-off approach. I actually am not mad at the Olympic Committee for doing this, because if they had done anything different, if any country would have said, you know what, we're going to get on board with China, when they took this overstep, in my opinion, about Black athletes taking any kind of stance for injustices that happen against us, then this would have been so hypocritical. So they took the right stance because of that. But it's just funny to me that the United States government was like, we're going to make a stand, when our politicians continually bash activists, specifically in sports, for making a stand. So what I'm not going to do is pretend like it's not coming. China ain't never said nothing they don't mean. I don't know what kind of bans or tariffs or trade. I don't know what's going to happen. All of a sudden, this might be the last iPhone we get, because we might not get no more parts from China. I don't know. But something is coming. And I'm just telling y'all, prepare yourself. Chris, what do you think?
Well, I think that, I'm very happy to own two Kias, Korea cars, and a Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus. Korean phone. So it won't affect me if they hit us where it hurts like that. I mean, maybe my consoles, like, I got to double check where Sony from. I think that's us. I know Xbox America. So I just got, all my electronics are pretty safe. But I think everything you mentioned is correct. Like, I just heed the warning. That's all I'm going to say. Like, that's all I got to say about that. I don't know if we're ultimately going to follow through. It looks like we might, but heed the warning. That's all I saw when I heard these articles.
I have a Hyundai. My mom has a Nissan. Where are those?
Hyundai's good. Hyundai's the sister company with Kia, so we good. You with me?
Okay. What about
you
Nissan?
We good.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Mom. You ain't gonna be able to get your car fixed if it breaks down. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Mama. We gotta get you in the Kia or a Hyundai or Ford.
That's so. We gonna be walking. Hey, promoting health. Be walking out here. All right, but that's all we got for today's show. Somebody said, I think it was Mike Glock that said, "Are we going to at least 9:50?" Here we are, sir. 9:49. You're welcome. We will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys be safe. Bye. Chris, you got to do the hard bye.
Bye. Sorry.
There we go. Thank you.